The message came suddenly without warning, cutting through the night like a blade. Across Earth, holographic projections filled the skies, glowing bright against the darkness. Every city, every town, every village saw the same words flickering. In cold light, Earth must surrender, comply or be erased. The words were not a request, they were a threat, and they came from the Galactic Council, rulers of thousands of worlds across the stars. For centuries, humans had lived quietly, exploring their own planet, sending small probes to nearby planets, avoiding the galaxy's notice. Humanity had stayed small, careful, invisible. But now the galaxy had noticed, and it demanded obedience. In the capitals of the world, leaders met urgently. President Mara Chen, the youngest ever to lead Earth, stood before the global assembly, her eyes calm but burning with determination. "They think we are weak," she said softly. Then louder to all who could hear, "They think we will bow, but we never bow. Humanity has survived worse, and we will survive this." In the streets, millions watched the glowing warning. Fear spread quickly. Some people ran, some cried, some prayed, but many others stood, fists clenched, hearts steady, refusing to be afraid. Humanity had survived plagues, wars, famines, and disasters. Could it survive this threat from the stars? Dr. Elias Novak, Earth's top astrophysicist, studied the data. The Council's fleet was enormous, thousands of ships, each bigger than any human orbital station. Their weapons could destroy cities in minutes. Humanity's regular armies would be crushed. But Novak noticed something in their fleet. A pattern, a rhythm. They moved with confidence, believing themselves unbeatable, and confidence could be a weakness. In hidden facilities across Earth, humans prepared in secret. Decades of work had created advanced warships, orbital defenses, and energy weapons the galaxy had never seen. No one outside Earth knew about them. Until now. President Chen addressed the entire planet. Every screen, every phone, every device connected to her words. Humanity's voice rang clear. "The galaxy demands our surrender. We will not surrender. Earth declares war, not for conquest, but to survive. Let all who threaten us know, humanity does not yield." The world erupted. Some cheered, some cried, some just stood in silent shock. Across continents, humanity's fear turned into resolve. For the first time, they felt the fierce pride of survival, of standing together against impossible odds. Alien scouts detected the broadcast. Confusion spread among the Council's commanders. Humans were not afraid. Humans were not begging. Humans had declared war. Across the galaxy, the news traveled faster than light. Earth was awake. By dawn, the first Council ships entered the solar system. Their scanners swept the planet, their weapons thrummed with deadly energy. They expected panic. They expected surrender. They would find neither. On Earth, humans readied themselves. Engineers loaded massive railguns. Pilots boarded sleek warships. Soldiers checked weapons, tightened armor, and whispered prayers to whatever they believed. Children huddled with parents in shelters, sensing the tension but believing in the strength of their world. In orbit, President Chen watched the incoming fleet. She stood alone, silent, her eyes fixed on the distant stars. "If they want war," she whispered, "they will have it, but they will never break us." The galaxy had judged Earth small, weak, and insignificant. But tonight humanity would show them their mistake. The fight for survival, for pride, and for freedom had begun. And nothing would ever be the same again. The sky above Earth shimmered, with lights as the Council's fleet drew closer. Thousands of alien warships, enormous and gleaming, surrounded the planet like a metal storm. Their weapons glowed with a deadly energy, ready to strike. On Earth, the people watched with fear, yet also with a strange, growing pride. They had refused to surrender. They had declared war. In orbit, Earth's hidden fleet prepared. The ships were smaller than the alien giants, but each one carried weapons the galaxy had never seen. Railguns capable of tearing through steel, plasma cannons that burned hotter than suns, and invisible shields that could absorb the mightiest attacks. All had been built in secret. Captain Aaron Vega, commander of the flagship Resolute, looked at the approaching enemy. Her hands were steady on the controls, but her heart raced. "They think they can crush us in hours," she said to her crew. "Let's show them how wrong they are." The first alien ship moved to attack. It's massive. Cannons fired, a bright flash of energy streaking toward Earth's orbit. But the humans were ready. The Resolute fired its railgun first. The shot cut through space with terrifying speed, striking the alien vessel directly. The ship exploded in a brilliant fireball, fragments scattering into the void. Shock rippled through the enemy fleet. They had expected weak, frightened humans. They had expected surrender. Instead, one of their largest ships had just been destroyed by what they assumed were small, primitive vessels. On Earth, people watched the explosions in awe. Some cheered, some wept, and some simply stood silently, feeling hope stir in their hearts. Humanity had fought back, and it worked, but the battle had only begun. The alien fleet responded with fury, firing hundreds of energy blasts at the humans. The Resolute dodged, weaving between blasts like a silver shadow. Other human ships joined the fight. Invisible shields flickered as they absorbed attacks, plasma cannons fired back, and the aliens began to realize that their confidence had been a mistake. Dr. Elias Novak, monitoring the battle from Earth, felt his hands shake. "They underestimated us," he said aloud, "completely." Around him, engineers adjusted weapon frequencies, hacked alien communications, and fed new data to the ships in real time. Every move was coordinated, every strike precise. "Captain," Vega maneuvered her fleet with calm determination. She spoke to her crew, her voice steady but filled with fire. "They think numbers are everything. They think size is power. But we have something they don't. Humans fight for each other, for Earth, for every life. That is our weapon." The alien commander, observing the battle from his massive bridge, roared in frustration. His fleet had never faced resistance like this. Ships were falling, systems failing, morale cracking. Humanity's hidden strength, their unity and their courage were unlike anything the galaxy had encountered. On Earth, children watched the skies with wide eyes. Parents held them close. Across continents, humanity's broadcast repeated the message: Earth will not surrender. Earth will fight. Earth will survive. And in space, as the first day of battle ended, the humans had already changed the rules. The aliens had expected a quick victory, but instead, they faced a species willing to risk everything. They were strong, smart, and fearless. Captain Vega stared at the stars, feeling the weight of the fight ahead. "This is just the beginning," she whispered. "They demanded our surrender. They will get war instead, and we will show them that humans are not to be underestimated." The night sky over Earth glowed with the light of battle. Humanity had struck first and shown courage beyond measure. And though the fight had only just begun, one thing was clear: the galaxy had never seen anything like Earth, and it never would forget it. The victory of the first strike did not last long. The Galactic Council, humiliated by the destruction of their flagship, unleashed the full power of their fleet. Thousands of alien warships formed a massive circle around Earth, their weapons pulsing like living fire. Their message was clear: humans would pay for their defiance. On Earth, cities trembled as orbital sensors detected the incoming assault. Warning sirens blared, and millions of people ran to shelters. Yet, despite the fear, the human spirit did not break. Across the planet, citizens stood together, offering comfort to one another. They knew the danger, yet they also knew something the galaxy had forgotten. Humans fight with heart, not just technology. In orbit, Captain Aaron Vega adjusted her fleet's formation. The Resolute led the humans' defensive line, flanked by smaller ships equipped with stealth shields. "They are stronger," she said to her officers. "Faster, bigger. But we have something they do not: courage, unity, and the will to survive. Remember, we fight for Earth, for everyone. That is our strength." The aliens struck first. Swarms of energy missiles rained toward the human fleet, bright streaks across the void. Shields flared and sparks danced as some missiles were absorbed. Others exploded harmlessly in space. Human gunners retaliated, firing plasma beams with precision, slicing through the enemy's formation. Ships that seemed invincible crumbled under the unexpected attack. On Earth, Dr. Elias Novak monitored the battle with a mixture of awe and fear. "They are relentless," he muttered, "but they do not understand us." He adjusted the algorithms, controlling orbital weapons, sending precise commands to intercept enemy projectiles. Every strike, every maneuver, every counterattack was carefully calculated, but it was guided by something else as well. A shared determination, a unity born of desperation. The alien commanders, arrogant and confident, could not understand why. Their superior technology was failing. Their largest ships were being disabled by smaller, primitive vessels. Their calculations had assumed fear and submission from humanity, but instead, they faced ingenuity, bravery, and relentless willpower. As the battle raged, humans on the ground witnessed flashes of light in the sky. Children clutched their parents, soldiers held the ear lines, and ordinary citizens did extraordinary things, rescuing the injured, protecting neighborhoods, maintaining calm amidst chaos. Each act of courage was another strike against the Council's assumptions. Captain Vega directed a daring maneuver. The Resolute and its escort ships dove through a narrow corridor of enemy fire, emerging behind the Council's forward line. With coordinated precision, the human fleet launched a concentrated assault. One by one, alien vessels exploded, tearing holes in the enemy's formation. From the command center on Earth, President Mara Chen watched the battle unfold. Her heart swelled with pride. "They thought humans were weak," she whispered. "But they do not understand our spirit. They never will." She addressed the planet again, her voice steady, strong, and clear. "We are tested, we are challenged, but we do not break. Earth will fight, and we will survive. The galaxy will see that humanity cannot be crushed." The Council faltered. Ships that had seemed unstoppable were now retreating to regroup. Confusion spread among their ranks. They had underestimated humans, and the cost was mounting. Humanity's clever strategies, determination, and unity were turning the tide of the battle. Captain Vega, looking at the remaining enemy ships, knew the fight was far from over. "This is only the beginning," she said to her crew. "They will return stronger than ever, but so will we. Humanity never backs down. We never surrender, and we never forget that we fight for each other." As the first day of the counterattack ended, humanity had proved something important. Even against overwhelming odds, courage and unity could defeat the strongest foe. The galaxy had demanded surrender, and Earth had refused. Now, humanity had shown the first taste of what they were truly capable of. The night sky above Earth burned with the light of war. The Galactic Council's fleet had regrouped, massive and threatening, their anger like a storm about to break. They had assumed humanity's fight would falter. That fear would make humans surrender, but Earth had not even begun to show its true strength. In orbit, Captain Aaron Vega stood on the bridge of the Resolute, her hands gripping the railing as she watched the enemy lines shift. "They think they are untouchable," she said quietly. "But they have not seen what we can do." Below, in secret underground shipyards, humanity's hidden warships were emerging. Sleek, fast, and armed with experimental weapons, they had been kept secret for decades. Today, they would finally reveal themselves to the galaxy. Engineers and pilots worked with silent urgency, knowing the moment had come. Every weapon was calibrated, every system checked. These ships were humanity's message. Underestimate us at your own risk. President Mara Chen addressed the world once more, her voice calm, yet fierce. "The galaxy has demanded our surrender," she said. "We have refused. Today we do not only defend our home, we strike. For Earth, for humanity, for everyone who believes in freedom." Across the planet, people felt a surge of pride and hope. Even as alarms rang, they knew their leaders were fearless, and that courage spread like wildfire. Captain Vega's fleet moved with precision. Smaller human ships flanked the massive Resolute, firing stealth torpedoes and energy beams in calculated strikes. Alien ships reeled under the surprise attack. Some had never been designed to face an enemy that moved so unpredictably, that struck so boldly, and that fought with passion beyond any calculation. Dr. Elias Novak monitored the alien ship's responses from Earth. His eyes widened as systems the Council had relied on began to fail. "They cannot believe this," he murmured. "They cannot understand humans. It is not just our weapons. It is our will, our courage." Each strike was precise, but it carried more than force. It carried the spirit of a species that refused to bow. The aliens panicked. Their formations broke apart as human ships darted between massive warships, striking weak points and vanishing into the void. Explosions lit the night like fireworks, a terrifying and beautiful display of humanity's power. Captain Vega's voice rang through the fleet. "Every ship, every soldier, every citizen fighting with us. Remember who we are. Earth will not fall. Humanity will not surrender." On the ground, people watched the sky with tears in their eyes. Children clung to parents, soldiers ran to defend cities, and even ordinary citizens performed acts of courage that defied fear. Humanity's unity, their willingness to fight together, was visible to the galaxy in ways that no weapon ever could show. The Council's command ships began retreating, but Captain Vega was not finished. She led the Resolute through the enemy lines, striking a series of critical targets. Alien warships exploded one after another, their metal hulls shredded by weapons they had believed incapable of harming them. The Council's arrogance had blinded them to human ingenuity. President Chen, watching from her command center, spoke to the world again. "The galaxy has thought us weak. They have thought us small. Today they learn what humanity truly is. Not machines, not armies, but courage. Unity, determination. We fight not for conquest, but for our right to exist, and we will win." The battle raged through the night, but by dawn, humanity had achieved something remarkable. The Galactic Council had suffered losses they could not ignore. Ships that had seemed invincible were now wrecks drifting through space. Their confidence was shaken, their plans disrupted. Captain Vega looked at the stars, her face calm but resolute. "They demanded surrender," she whispered. "They will get war, and every step of the way they will learn that humans never give up, never yield, and never forget who they fight for." For the first time, the galaxy began to see that Earth was not a weak, insignificant planet. It was a force of life, courage, and relentless spirit. Humanity had struck back, and the Council would never underestimate them again. The Galactic Council was furious. Their pride had been shattered. Their mighty fleet, thought unbeatable, had been decimated by a species they considered insignificant. Across the galaxy, commanders debated, shouted, and blamed each other. But no plan seemed enough. Earth had proven it would not surrender. Earth had proven it could fight back. And now the Council was desperate. In orbit, Captain Aaron Vega watched the enemy regroup. The Council's ships were fewer now, but their weapons were even more deadly. Energy beams brighter than suns streaked across space, aiming to obliterate every human ship in sight. The Resolute and its fleet moved carefully, dodging attacks and retaliating where possible, but the pressure was intense. This was the moment humanity had feared, but also the moment they had trained for. "Captain," Lieutenant Marashu said urgently, "they've concentrated fire on the Resolute. Shields may not hold much longer." Vega's eyes narrowed. "Then we make them regret it," she said, her voice calm but firm. "Signal Earth. Prepare the planetary defenses. This is no longer just a battle in orbit. The galaxy has forced our hand. We strike everywhere, together." On Earth, President Mara Chen activated hidden defense networks. Cities were reinforced with energy barriers, orbital cannons powered up, and humanity's secret war machines prepared to launch. Citizens watched from safe zones as the skies lit up with flashes of light. Fear was there, but so was a deep, fiery pride. Their leaders had not fled. They had not surrendered. And now, the fight was on Earth itself, as well as in space. Doctor. Elias Novak monitored the Council fleet's movement. "They've grown reckless," he said, his voice tight with tension. "They are hitting too fast, too hard. One mistake could cost them everything. One mistake could let us turn the tide, completely." Captain Vega's fleet surged forward with sudden precision. Human ships fired volleys of plasma and railgun strikes, weaving through the Council's ranks like predators in the void. Alien ships exploded in bursts of fire and metal. Vega coordinated the fleet with calm authority, her every decision sharp, deliberate, and deadly. But the Council was cunning. They unleashed a massive energy wave, a weapon designed to destroy anything in its path. Human shields strained under the pressure. Ships shuddered, sparks flying across bridges. Yet Vega did not falter. "Divert all power to the forward shields. Focus fire on the energy core of their lead ship. This ends tonight." On Earth, orbital cannons fired in synchronization with Vega's fleet. Cities shook as the Council's attacks met resistance at every turn. Citizens gasped and cheered simultaneously, seeing humanity's resilience shine through. Every explosion, every blast that failed to hit its mark, was a reminder. Humans did not give up. Humans fought for each other, for their planet, for life itself. The Council's fleet faltered again. Vega and her officers launched a daring assault, striking deep into the enemy formation. One by one, massive ships crumbled. The humans' clever strategies, precise timing, and relentless courage left the aliens stunned. President Chen addressed the world during the chaos, her voice resolute. "The galaxy has underestimated us. They have thought they could crush our homes, our families, our lives, but they are wrong. Humanity fights as one, and together we are unstoppable. Earth will survive. Humanity will survive." In space, Vega watched the Council's remaining ships retreat. Their arrogance had been broken. Their strategy had failed. Humanity had survived the desperate assault, but the fight was far from over. Captain Vega looked at the stars, her heart steady but full of fire. "They demanded our surrender," she whispered to her crew. "They forced our hand. But we did not bow. We did not break. And we will continue to fight until the galaxy remembers the name of Earth." The first major battle of the war was over, but its echo would shake the galaxy for generations. Humanity had faced impossible odds, and survived. The galaxy had demanded surrender, and Earth had given something far greater: defiance, courage, and the unshakable will to fight. The morning sky above Earth was quiet, but space was alive with battle. The Galactic Council's fleet had been wounded, shaken by humanity's first strikes and the desperate defense of Earth. What the Council had thought was an easy conquest had become a war they could not predict, and humanity, small but unyielding, was about to strike again. Captain. Aaron Vega stood on the bridge of the Resolute, her eyes fixed on the remaining alien vessels. "They are regrouping," she said softly. "But we know them now. We know their weaknesses. Humanity does not just survive. We fight smart." Across the planet, hidden factories and shipyards were working faster than ever. Human engineers pushed experimental warships into orbit, faster and deadlier than anything the Council had seen. Orbital cannons were repositioned to cover strategic points, and advanced railguns aimed at key enemy ships. Humanity was no longer defending. They were taking control of the battlefield. President Mara Chen addressed the people once again. Her voice was calm, but it carried fire. "The galaxy thought us weak," she said. "They thought they could crush our homes, our lives, and our families. They were wrong. Today we strike back. Today the galaxy learns what it means to face humans united." Across the world, citizens felt a renewed strength. Fear had not vanished, but it had transformed into determination. Humanity had become unstoppable. Captain Vega led the first offensive wave. Human ships darted like shadows, invisible and deadly. They struck alien supply ships first, crippling fleets before the enemy could react. Then coordinated strikes took down weapon systems and key engines. The Council's commanders had thought humans fought only with courage. Now they saw strategy, intelligence, and precision. Dr. Elias Novak monitored the battle from Earth. "Every strike is calculated," he murmured. "But more than that, it's human spirit. Fearless, relentless, united. They cannot predict us because we do not act like any other species they have faced." The Council's fleet tried to respond with brute force, unleashing massive energy, waves and firestorms. But the humans were ready. Shields flared, energy pulses deflected attacks, and counterstrikes tore through enemy lines. The Council's arrogance, their belief in size and numbers, became their weakness. On Earth, people watched the flashes of battle in the sky. Children clutched their parents' hands, soldiers ran to their posts with courage, civilians performed heroic acts, rescuing those in danger and supporting the war effort in every way possible. Humanity's unity extended beyond soldiers and pilots. It was every citizen, every life, standing together. Captain Vega gave orders with precision. "Focus. Fire on the command ships. Disable their systems. Show them that Earth does not bend. We fight for every home, every family, every person alive. Strike now." Alien ships began to fall one by one. Explosions lit the void like fireworks. The Council's fleet was in disarray, their formations broken. Confusion and fear spread among their commanders. Humanity's cunning, courage, and unity were too much to counter. President Chen addressed the world as the battle raged. "We will not surrender. We will not break. Every blow we deliver is a promise to the galaxy. Humanity will survive. Humanity will fight. And humanity will never bow." By the end of the day, humanity had turned the tide. The Council's fleet, once confident, now limped away in retreat. Human ships returned to orbit, battered but victorious. The world below celebrated quietly, knowing the fight was far from over, but also knowing the galaxy had learned a powerful lesson. Earth was not weak. Captain Vega stood on the bridge gazing at the stars. "They demanded surrender," she whispered to her crew. "They wanted fear, but they got defiance, courage, and unity. Humanity has shown the first spark of true power, and the galaxy will never forget it." The war was not over, but Earth had proven something vital. Humans could endure, fight, and triumph, even against overwhelming odds. And for the first time, the galaxy knew that underestimating humanity could be a fatal mistake. The stars above Earth glimmered, but space was alive with fire and motion. The Galactic Council's fleet, battered and broken, hovered like wounded predators. They had underestimated humanity at every turn, and the cost was evident. The humans had fought back with courage, skill, and unity, forces no calculations could predict. Captain Aaron Vega stood on the bridge of the Resolute, her hands steady on the railing. "This is the moment," she said quietly, her voice carrying the weight of hope and determination. "The galaxy demanded our surrender. They will not take it. Not now, not ever. Humanity fights for every life on Earth, and we will finish what we started." The human fleet surged forward. Sleek warships hidden for decades now revealed their full power. Plasma cannons fired, railguns tore through the Council's warships, and coordinated strikes dismantled enemy defenses. Alien vessels that once seemed unstoppable now fell one by one. Sparks and flames danced across space, painting the void with humanity's defiance. On Earth, citizens watched the flashes of battle in the sky. Children clung to parents, soldiers held their lines, and even ordinary citizens performed acts of bravery that defied fear. Humanity was united, not just in warships or weapons, but in spirit and heart. Every life mattered, and that unity gave them strength the Council could never understand. President Mara Chen addressed the planet, her voice calm yet powerful. "The galaxy demanded our surrender. We refused. They believed we were weak, small, and powerless. Today they have seen the truth. Humanity does not bow. Humanity does not flee. Humanity fights, and humanity wins. Captain Vega directed her fleet with precision. Focus on their command ships. Disable their systems. Show them what it means to threaten Earth. Strike together as one, for every human life, for every home, for our planet. Alien commanders screamed orders, but chaos had taken hold. Their formations were shattered, their strategies crumbling. Human ingenuity, bravery, and relentless determination had become their undoing. Every strike, every tactical maneuver was perfectly timed, and the Council had no answers. Dr. Elias Novak watched from the control center on Earth, his hands trembling with excitement. "They've never seen this before," he said. "They cannot calculate courage. They cannot predict unity. Humanity is unstoppable when we fight together." The final push began. Captain Vega led the Resolute through the heart of the remaining enemy fleet. Alien ships exploded in waves of fire and debris. Energy beams lit the void, but human shields held firm. Every strike carried not only force but the spirit of a species refusing to die quietly. The Galactic Council's largest warship, the flagship of the fleet, hovered at the center. Vega's crew targeted it with all remaining firepower. Plasma tore through armor, railgun shells blasted the hull, and energy waves fractured its systems. The mighty vessel that had once demanded Earth's surrender now burned in the emptiness of space. In the control room below, President Chen watched, tears welling in her eyes. "We have shown them," she whispered. "We are humans. We fight for life. We fight for freedom. And we do not yield." On Earth, the citizens erupted in cheers and tears. Humanity had survived the impossible, fought the unbeatable, and emerged victorious. The Council had demanded submission, but Earth had given something far stronger: defiance, courage, and the unshakable will to fight. Captain Vega, standing on the bridge, looked at the stars, the wreckage of the Council's fleet scattered across the void. "They demanded surrender," she said softly, "but we gave them war. And we have shown the galaxy what humanity truly is. We are not small. We are not weak. We are Earth, and we will never be forgotten." The battle was over, but its message would echo across the galaxy for centuries. Underestimate humans at your own peril. They had faced annihilation and had not bowed. They had fought together, endured together, and triumphed together. And on that day, the galaxy learned a simple truth: when Earth stands, humanity stands unbroken, fearless, and unstoppable.